Hello and welcome, dear friends. Today we'll talk about Saturn in the 6th house of your chart. Do subscribe to my channel. If you want consultation, my WhatsApp number is there in the video description. Now, according to Bhrigu Nandi Nadi astrology, Saturn is primarily considered to be the significator of your profession. It is called the Karma Karak. Saturn is also the significator of death and longevity, of sorrow, punishment, reward. It's a planet of justice, of time, of discipline, of diligence, hard work, patience, perseverance, responsibility, duty. Saturn is a planet of maturity and realism and of practicality. Saturn also signifies analytical skills, great analytical skills. Saturn also signifies research. Saturn also signifies secrecy, darkness. It also signifies fear. Saturn signifies all kinds of obstacles and delay, any kind of obstruction. Saturn represents the masses, especially the working class or your subordinates. For example, even this, like the servants, scavengers, maids, helpers, the fourth grade staff or employees, they're all represented by Saturn. So Saturn is now in the 6th house of your chart. What is the 6th house? The 6th house is primarily the house of Prarabdha Karma. What is Prarabdha Karma? That is, the 9th house is the house which represents your past life, or the past life credit, means whatever good deeds you have done in your past life. That is also shown by the 9th house. That is why it is also the house of your fortune. And the 6th house is 10th from the 9th house. That is, it is the karma of your past life. So it is your Prarabdha Karma. So Prarabdha Karma also denotes all those debts that you need to repay in this lifetime. It refers to all those debts that we owe to everything around us or to everyone around us. All those debts that we need to repay. That is why the 6th house is also the house of the Shadripus. Shadripus refer to the 6 sins. You may say the 6 deadly sins or 6 weaknesses of the mind, of the human mind, which prevent humans from attaining moksha or liberation. If we can, get rid of these sins, then we can definitely attain moksha in this lifetime. What are those sins? Those 6 weaknesses or sins are lust, anger, greed, jealousy, delusion, and lust, anger, greed, jealousy, delusion, and arrogance. These are the 6 weaknesses of the human mind. Now, Saturn is also a karmic planet, and Saturn is seated in the 6th house. That means Saturn wants you to, repay certain debts in this lifetime. That is, you have some pending karma. So, the best remedy for Saturn in the 6th house is serving the poor, needy, sick, especially serving the sick, the physically or mentally challenged, serving the diseased, and serving the old, the weak, and needy. That is the best remedy for Saturn in the 6th house. If you do that, then Saturn in the 6th house will give you excellent results over time. And that should be service, selfless service. Now, Saturn in the 6th house. 6th house also refers to debts or loans. It refers to your enemies, and also it refers to diseases. So if Saturn is in good dignity, is more or less well placed, then Saturn will restrict all these negative things. Saturn will restrict your enemies, your diseases. There will be delay, there will be restriction. And even if you have a disease, even if you catch some disease, it will not be very severe because Saturn will restrict it. Saturn is a planet of limitation and restriction. Even if Saturn is in good dignity, it will help you to, face your enemies bravely, and it will help you to, you will be very, you'll be very analytical and critical. Saturn provides you with in-depth knowledge also. So your enemies will not be able to harm you. Saturn will enable you to win over your enemies if it is in good dignity. What do you mean by Saturn being well placed? Means Saturn should be in a zodiac sign which is compatible, the lord of which is compatible with Saturn. Either it is friendly to Saturn, or you can say the lord of that zodiac sign should be well placed in the chart. That also you have to look at. And Saturn should be in a nakshatra also, which should be a good nakshatra. Yes, that is a nakshatra, the lord of which is compatible with Saturn, or the lord of which is, well placed in the chart. So that will show that Saturn is strongly placed. Saturn does well if it is in its own signs, that is either in Aquarius or in Capricorn, or in its sign of exaltation, that is Libra. Saturn is considered to be debilitated in Aries. Saturn is also considered to be powerful in Gemini, in Virgo, and even in Taurus. So you have to look at how Saturn is placed. Now, friends, if Saturn is more or less well placed, then all these negative things, your enemies, diseases, even loans, Saturn will restrict them. Yes, but if Saturn is not very well placed, then it may be a little difficult for you to handle your enemies. Then just the reverse might even happen if Saturn is not in good dignity. And because of which now, supposing Saturn is afflicted in your chart, God forbid, but Saturn is afflicted in somebody's chart in the 6th house, then in order to escape from your enemies, you may even have to go to some foreign land. Because, Saturn sitting in the 6th house is directly aspecting the 12th house, the house of foreign land. The enemies, might defeat the native, and the native may even, have to go to prison, because 12th house is also the house of prison, and Saturn is aspecting the 12th house. Or the native may be so troubled by his enemies that he may even lose his sanity, and he may have to go to an asylum, mental asylum. 12th house is also the house of asylum. Saturn is aspecting the 12th house. All these things may happen if Saturn is afflicted in the chart. But friends, even if Saturn is afflicted, in Nadi astrology we believe that we can improve, Saturn you can improve your Saturn. You can make Saturn a benefic for you through your karma or actions. If you improve your actions, if you follow a proper daily routine, if you work hard, if you are disciplined, then no matter how Saturn is placed, Saturn will never harm you. 6th house is also the house of your daily routine. Yes? So that means if Saturn is well placed, the native will be very disciplined. He will follow a proper daily routine. As a result of which the native will also be healthy, because 6th house is also the house of health. So 6th house If Saturn is afflicted, then the native may have some long-term illness, because Saturn also shows delay. It's a slow-moving planet. So he may suffer from some long-term disease. But if Saturn is well placed and you are following a proper daily routine, then Saturn will cause delay in the disease, or Saturn will restrict the disease, and you will be healthy. So sixth house also refers to medical profession, healthcare services. So there is also a strong indication that the native may be in such a profession or service. Or sixth house is also the house of litigation, of all kinds of, legal battles and quarrels in courts of law. So the native also might be a lawyer or even a judge. He may be somehow connected to the judiciary. That also we can say. And because sixth house, Saturn is seated there, and if Saturn in the sixth house is also making some connection with the eighth house, then we can also say that with some planet seated in the eighth house, then the native also may be a surgeon. And anyway, sixth house is the house of medical profession. So if there is a connection, especially between Saturn and Mars, or even Ketu, then there is a strong possibility that the native may be a surgeon. Now friends, in Nadi astrology, we believe that Saturn's first aspect will fall on the sixth house only. That is the first aspect. If you look at the chart of the Kal Purush or cosmic man, the sixth house is ruled by Mercury, which is Saturn's friend. And the significators of the sixth house are Mars and Saturn himself. So, Mars. The energy of Mars is very different from that of Saturn. Mars is impulsive. Mars believes in quick action. Mars is restless. Saturn is very calculating, very far-sighted, very steady and slow. So the energies of Mars and Saturn are different. So if Saturn is debilitated in the sixth house or afflicted, then because after all, sixth house in the chart of the Kal Purush is also, in a way it is also the house of Mars, because Mars is the significator. So then the native may, take some, maybe involved in some action, in some impulsive action. So especially if Saturn is debilitated, he may be engaged in some impulsive actions. He may do something impulsively and without thinking, thoughtless action, for which he may have to suffer. Especially, the enemies may get the upper hand and may, kind of dominate him. So you need to be careful, because the energy of Mars is also there in the sixth house. So you need to act, but you need to act thoughtfully. Now, that is the first aspect of Nadi astrology, which is falling on the sixth house. Sixth house is also the house of your pets. So you may have some karmic relation with your pets. You may be very, responsible and dutiful towards your pets. You may feel that, they are your responsibility. You may look upon that responsibility in a very serious way. If you have pets, because sixth house also refers to pet animals. Now friends, let us quickly go to the other aspects of Saturn. Sixth house in the chart of the Kal Purush, the sign of Virgo is there. So Virgo is also the sign of agriculture. So somehow the profession of the native, also Saturn signifies profession. It may also be related to, agriculture or nature or the environment. That also we can say. Now friends, Saturn's second aspect will fall on the seventh house. If Saturn is in good dignity, then the native will be very dutiful and responsible towards his spouse. Otherwise, the native will be very skeptical, very doubtful. The native may, look upon his spouse with a sense of suspicion. He may be very critical, which will not be good for his married life. Depends on Saturn's dignity. 7th house is also the house of independent business. Now Saturn is aspecting, second aspect. This also shows that you want to start some business, but there may be some delay in that. Some obstruction may be there. Or if Saturn is well placed, then it also shows that you will really work hard towards your business and you will do very well. But yes, Saturn gives you results over time. So you can expect good results from your independent business, say after the age of 35. Let us go to Saturn's third aspect. Third aspect is very important from the point of view of your profession. That will fall on the 8th house. 8th house. In the chart of the Kalpurush, Saturn is also the significator of the 8th house. 8th house is whatever is hidden is referred to by the 8th house. So 8th house is also the house of secrecy and even darkness and sorrow, sudden gains and sudden losses, accidents, even the occult sciences. Now Saturn is aspecting, so Saturn is your profession. Third aspect is primarily the aspect of profession. So you will be very much interested in occult sciences like astrology or tarot card reading or any other kind of occult science, because you may be very much interested and you may want to pursue one of these as your profession. You may be a very good detective, or you may be connected to secret services or espionage services. You may be dealing with underground mining, any sort of underground mining. You may work in the taxation department, or you may work in some insurance company. So Saturn will also now delay the inheritance that you were expecting, some family inheritance of property. Saturn will now may delay that. Saturn will now also delay the accidents, will restrict the accidents. You maybe you could have met with some accident, but Saturn will delay that now, which is a good thing. So all 8th house things now, Saturn's third aspect is falling on the 8th house. So even joint assets with your spouse, you will be able to build your assets after the age of 35. There will be some delay in that also we can say. 8th house also refers to your in-laws. So because Saturn is aspecting, so there might be some problematic relationship with your in-laws or with the spouse's family. That also we can say. Now friends, let us quickly go to Saturn's next aspect, which is 5th aspect. It is a trinal aspect. It is falling on the 10th house. This aspect is around 75% powerful. 10th house is the house of your profession. Saturn is the significator of the 10th house in the chart of the cosmic man. So now Saturn's 5th aspect is falling. This is an auspicious aspect. This shows that you will be very disciplined, hardworking, diligent. You'll be you'll be a very good employee. Any employer would love to have you because you are disciplined. You are goal oriented. Yes, you have a goal and you steadily move towards it. You are far-sighted and you believe in working hard. So Saturn's 5th aspect on the 10th house, that will make you a good professional. Yes, it can make you a successful professional in the long run, provided Saturn is in good dignity. If Saturn is not so well placed, then you may encounter obstacles in your profession, which you need to overcome by developing a sense of patience, by working hard consistently. If you do that, you will be able to overcome all those obstacles in your profession over time. And then after the age of 35, you can expect very good results in the field of profession, and then there will be there'll be a rise in your social status. Now let us go to the next aspect of Saturn. The seventh aspect will fall on the 12th house. This is very important. The seventh aspect is falling on the 12th house. If Saturn is in good dignity in the 6th house, it can show that because of your profession you will need to travel to some foreign land, and you will have to also settle down there in some foreign land because of your profession, if it is in good dignity. Or you may have connections with foreign land. You may be working even wherever you are placed, you may be working there, but you will have very strong connections with foreign land, with maybe some foreign company. You will be dealing with foreign companies. This also can be a possibility. If Saturn is not in good dignity, then maybe you will have to, because of your profession, you will have to travel to some foreign land, and there you may have to encounter certain obstacles. You'll have to overcome certain obstacles and problems. Even after you go to that foreign land and settle down there, there may be some obstacles there. We have to look at Saturn's dignity. And if Saturn is not in good dignity, then because of his karma, because of his actions, the native may even have to go to some prison. 12th house is the house of isolation, prison. Or maybe the native may have to go to some mental asylum. You never know. But if Saturn is in good dignity, then you may work in a mental asylum as a psychiatrist or as a psychological counselor. If it is in good dignity, then you may work in some prison. You may be in an administrative position there, maybe. Or maybe you may be some kind of worker in a prison. If Saturn is in average dignity, we can say that. So it all depends on how Saturn is placed. It also shows that the 6th house is the house of your Shadripus, the 6 weaknesses I just mentioned. So if you overcome those weaknesses, and if you try to get rid of those 6 sins, then you can attain moksha. 12th house is also the house of your spiritual liberation and salvation. If you do that, because Saturn is the planet of karma sitting in the 6th house, your pending karma, prarabdha karma, you need to overcome those sins, 6 sins. And then you can attain, Saturn is aspecting the 12th house, you can attain moksha and liberation and salvation. How beautiful is that? You can do that. So at least let us try to overcome those sins, those 6 weaknesses of the mind, which I have mentioned. Now friends, losses, Saturn is aspecting. So it will also protect you from losses. It will restrict those losses. But 12th house is also the house of charity and donation. So it could also make you a miser. You may not be willing to, donate even to the needy, or at times, it will cause, you may not be charitable at times. So you need to overcome that. You have to be charitable, because charity or donation, that is also the best remedy for Saturn. So Saturn may restrict you, in donating, but you will have to overcome that restriction, because after all, Saturn's aspect is there. So in due course of time, Saturn will reward you for, being charitable towards the poor, needy, unprivileged, old, sick and diseased. Let us go to Saturn's 9th aspect. 9th aspect is also a trinal aspect, around 70% powerful. It will fall on your 2nd house of accumulated wealth. So you will definitely be able to accumulate wealth. This is an auspicious aspect. But provided you work hard, provided you are making efforts, you will definitely be able to accumulate wealth. After the age of 30, you can accumulate wealth. Family members, so initially, early on in life, if you had some problems with certain family members, over time your relationship with them also will improve, because this is a trinal aspect. Speech, maybe your speech was a little harsh, and you never thought twice before speaking, because you thought that yes, whatever is right, I should say that, no matter if the other person is hurt, I don't care. Maybe you thought that way earlier, but with time, even your speech will also improve, and you will learn, because Saturn is also a planet, because Saturn believes in practicality. Yes, so Saturn believes in maturity. So after the age of 30, 35, it will make you mature, and you will know also how to speak, so that you don't hurt others' feelings. But if Saturn is afflicted, then a person may be in the habit of telling lies. The person may deceive other people with his speech if Saturn is afflicted. It is the house of your food intake. So because it is a trinal aspect, the person generally is very disciplined regarding his food habits. He will definitely avoid those food stuff or those food items which are not good for his health. Yes, he will follow those dietary restrictions. And he will definitely not drink, alcohol, and at least, he will not be an addict, because Saturn's trinal aspect is there. But if it is afflicted, then even the native might be an addict. He might consume too much of alcohol and all. And Saturn is aspecting the second house. So in due course of time, the native will have to pay for his actions. Let us go to Saturn's next aspect, which is Saturn's 10th aspect, very important, the karma aspect. It will fall on your third house, which is very good. Third house is the house of your efforts. This is the aspect of karma falling on the third house. So it will make you very hardworking. You will put in efforts consistently with a lot of diligence and dedication and perseverance and patience, because third house is also an upachaya house. The results of this house, they grow over time. You keep reaping the benefits of this benefits of the results of this house over time. So it will grow over time. So that is why if Saturn is aspecting and you keep making efforts consistently means over a long period of time, then definitely this house is the house of hard work. It is the house of initiative, of your willpower, courage. So you will definitely do well, especially after the age of 30, 35. You will do very well. You'll be successful in your profession. It is the house of initiation, beginning something new. Saturn is aspecting. So there might be some delay, because Saturn wants you to, be patient, perseverant. Saturn wants you to turn mature, realistic. Saturn wants you to have in-depth knowledge. So once you are, working hard, and you are actually, doing all these things, you are disciplined and you are hardworking, you are patient, then definitely you will be able to initiate your new project or venture in due course of time. Say after the age of 30 or 35, you can do that. It is also the house of your younger siblings. So initially maybe you had some problems, or you didn't get along well with them, but over time your relationship with your siblings also will improve. If Saturn is in more or less good dignity, you will turn responsible towards your siblings. You will believe that yes, I have a responsibility towards them. This also will happen. It is the house of communication. So maybe early on in life you were not very confident about your communication skills, but over time, this is an upachaya house which grows with time. So you will become very confident about your communication ability. You'll be a very good communicator. But over time, say after the age of 35 or even after the age of 30, you'll become very confident about the way you communicate your thoughts or ideas. Let us go to Saturn's 11th aspect. 11th aspect is around 30 to 35% effective. It will fall on your 4th house. the house of your mother. So some health problems mother might have, or you might not have a very cordial relationship with your mother, but then this is Saturn's 11th aspect and it is 30 to 35%. So over time, the differences will be sorted out, and you need to do that in the very first place, and the relationship with the mother will also improve. It might take a little time. But then if Saturn is in good dignity, then you will be dutiful towards your mother. And then 4th house is also the house of our assets and property. Some delay in attaining those assets, but definitely you'll be able to build your own assets or property after the age of 35. House of your mental peace and joy. So some lack of mental peace might be there earlier on, but then with time, Saturn blesses us with maturity, yes, and practicality, and then we learn to find peace within the 4 walls of our home. And this is what we really need to do now. Because of the COVID situation, we all have to now remain confined within the homes, within our own home. So we need to find peace within the home. There's no alternative actually, so that we can remain sane. So Saturn will enable you to find mental peace eventually, say after the age of 35 or 30. You will. But if Saturn is in good dignity, then we can also say that the native, will be very, responsible towards his home. Towards, he will take up all the responsibilities pertaining to his house. He'll be very dutiful. That also we can say. Last aspect will fall on the 5th house. That is the 12th aspect, which is 20 to 25% effective. 5th house is the house of creativity. Some restriction in expressing your creative talents may be there initially, but you will overcome them, and then you will be able to express your artistic talents. You'll be able to highlight your artistic talent, whatever talent you have. Maybe you are skilled in writing, maybe you have any other kind of skill. You will discover that, and you will definitely be able to highlight your artistic talent, say after the age of 30, we can say. So some problematic relationship with the child or with your, maybe there, especially with the first child, but then later on, those differences also will be sorted out, and your relationship with your child will improve, definitely after the age of 35. So some delay in childbirth may be there, because Saturn's 12th aspect is on the 5th house. Some delay in childbirth, that also we can say. Some obstacles you may have to encounter in your education, but you will eventually overcome them. If Saturn is in more or less good dignity, you will overcome those obstacles and you will attain education. So friends, Saturn is sitting in the 6th house, but from there Saturn is aspecting so many other houses, including the 6th house. Primarily it is aspecting the 6th house, because wherever it sits, we believe that the full aspect is on that house. So it is primarily influencing the 6th house, but along with that, it is also influencing so many other houses of your chart, so many other areas of your life. So friends, hope you like this video. Do subscribe to my channel and share this video.